was younger, I used to be a nanny for 3 children. And they were very young, and one of the things that we used to do when they were not feeling well, or when it was very cold, because this was back up in New Hampshire, we used to watch the Disney movies. I know them, a lot of them by heart. And one of the favorites of these 3 children happened to be Peter Pan. And there's a song in Peter Pan, if you've ever seen the Disney version, where they go ahead and they say, following the leader, following the leader wherever he may go. Have any of you ever played that game when you were little? How many of you liked being the followers? How many of you liked being the leaders the best? There seems to be something about us where we like to be the leaders, and we like to be out there, and we like to just see what's going on. Many of you know that I have a horse. His name is Max. And one of the things that used to irritate the heck out of me was the fact that Max never wanted to be the lead horse. He's much happier being one of the followers. He doesn't want to be the one in front. He wants to be the one in the back, or at least have other horses around him. It's fine, but as a rider, I get to see the backs of other people or the backs of other horses. I don't get such a great view. Today we have Moses and God again. We've been following Moses and the story of Exodus, and here we have Moses, and he comes face to face with God, or he comes in the presence of God. And he asks a very, very human thing. He says, God, I want to see your glory. Don't we all want that? Don't we all want to have that presence of God in our lives, and to know God and to see God? And here is Moses being totally human and asking God, I want to see you. But God says that that would be too difficult for him, and he would not be able to survive if he saw God's face. But God says that I will protect you, and I will pass over you and place my hand, and I will go before you, and you will see my back. You will see my back. You see, God is going to go before Moses, and God is going to guide Moses down the path, down the places where he could get lost, down the places that might have danger. And while it may seem that being behind someone and following the leader and being behind is not a very good place to be, in this case, it's a very smart place to be. What irritates me about my horse wanting to be behind the leader is actually a really good lesson for me. My horse is smarter than I thought. Because if we place ourselves behind God, we can follow God and know that God is there and guiding us and leading us, and we will not get lost, will we? When we go out on our own, when we try to do things by ourselves, we often get lost. We often get off the right trail and down into the mire and down into the briars and down into the places where it seems as though there is no hope. But when we place our faith in God and we allow God to be the leader, we are able to know the glory of God, and we are able to follow, and we are able to grow and be the people that God calls us to be. I've been thinking about that message from the Hebrew Bible, and I've been thinking about what does that mean also today as we are Christians. How many times have we heard Jesus say, come follow me, come and follow me, and let me be the one who guides you. And yet more and more of us, I think, in our world want to be the ones that make the decisions. We want to be the ones who are the leaders. We want to be the ones who plow and blaze the trail. But Jesus says, come and follow me. The wonderful thing for me is when I think about that, I know that I don't have to do it alone. That when I allow God to be the leader, that when I allow Jesus to guide me, then I really do see the glory of God, because then I really know the presence of God before me, and I can recognize it. We live so close to the Gulf. I'm sure many of us have seen the wake left of a boat that has gone by. We may not see the boat anymore, it may be on past the horizon, but we still see the wake and we know the presence. It's like that with God. Sometimes we don't see God, but we see the wake and we know the path that we're meant to follow because we recognize that God has been in this place and that God makes a path that is true and right and safe for us. So as we go through this week, as we find ourselves wanting to come face to face, making decisions by ourselves and sometimes coming into temptations, let us remember that being on the back side of God, allowing God to be the leader, that being a follower of Christ and being a follower of God is a really good place to be. Because when we do that, we live out our faith. We're guided by a hand that knows so much more than us. And we're guided by the love of a God that we cannot possibly define. Let us follow the leader wherever God may go, for God will certainly guide us to the right place. Amen.